Hey family, how you guys doing today? As always, thanks so much for taking the time out to watch this video. I appreciate it. Um, I was reading something and a gentleman was giving some relationship advice, marriage advice, and the advice that they were giving was, I'm sure, sincere. And it's actually common advice that a lot of people share. It's something that a lot of people say when it comes to marriage, when it comes to relationships. And what they say is, man, marriage takes work. Relationships take work. Let me share something with you. Most of the reason that relationships and marriages don't work out is because they take work. I want to present something to you and I want to share this with you. It is quite the opposite. When you have a healthy marriage, 95% of it flows. And it just flows. There's the 5 or 10% where there's some things you need to tweak and the things that you need to work on, adjust to. It's not the other way around. But most people get into relationships, get into marriages where it's the other way around. And that's what's being taught. Oh, you've got to work. You've got to work, 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 work. No. You don't have that kind of energy. You don't have that kind of toughness, resistance that you can just work, 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 work because your relationship is not flowing. If you have to work, 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 work so hard at your relationship, at your marriage, and 90% of what you're doing is working on your patience, working on your anger, working on how to communicate, working on how to deal with each other, working on being honest, you're not going to make it. Or it's going to be very frustrating. It's going to drain you. Nobody has that sort of, I can't even put a word on it, but nobody has that kind of just keep barring through. It's draining. It's stressful. Why do people break up? Why do relationships end? Because it's so much work. So I want to present something else to you. And I want you to know that no, a healthy relationship doesn't take a lot of work. It flows. It's a small portion of what happens. Do you really want to be in a marriage where it's work, 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 work? You're with somebody and they're not affectionate, so now they've got to work at that, and you've got to kind of edge them on, push them on so they'll be affectionate? Or that you're in a relationship or a marriage with somebody and they don't communicate with you? Every time you want to talk about something, it's like pulling teeth. Or you're in a relationship or a marriage with somebody and they just shut down. That's that's work stuff. And it's frustrating, it's irritating, it's draining, it can make you depressed, it can make you sad, it can make you angry. So no, relationships that are healthy do not require an immense amount of work. But since everybody is being told that, people think that's okay. People go into relationships and it's all kinds of work. It's not flowing at all. And people stay in that relationship because they think, oh, you know what? Relationships take work. They go on to get married and it's hell. It's a struggle. There's so many issues and problems. They shouldn't have gotten married in the first place, but because people think that, oh, you know what? Relationships, you got to go through that. It takes work. No. Do you know what it means if you're in a relationship and it's composed of 80 or 90% work, 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 and you're struggling through this and going through this issue and going through that issue, you don't match. It's not a good relationship. You don't need to get married. You end it right there. You don't try to force it, because that is your sign that, look, we're not ready. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe both of you aren't ready. One of you's not ready. Maybe you're not mature enough. Could be 100 things. But that's your sign. You don't keep going on and say, well, you know what, relationships take work. Most people that do that, and unfortunately, it is a large majority of people, go on and get married and they're miserable or they get divorced. All because they thought, well, you know, this is it. You got to work through everything. No. Healthy relationships flow. I remember years ago just hanging out with my buddy. This is a little bit after college. He got married. I was staying with him for a little while, and wonderful wife. And I remember just eating dinner with them, hanging out with them, and boy, oh boy, it was just so peaceful in their house. Him and the wife got along. Wasn't any shouting and screaming. And I was with them for probably about a year and a bit. Wasn't a whole bunch of nonsense going on and stuff. They had their disagreements, but they handled them well. It was just so peaceful. So peaceful. And their marriage just flowed. It just flowed. And then I think of other people where every other day it's disagreement. Every week, some kind of problem. some kind of issue, something's going on. Can't see eye to eye. There's 100 different things that they just can't solve, can't resolve anything, can't talk to each other, can't see things and come to a compromise. I'm telling you, if you think that you're going to have the energy and the strength to just bulldoze your way through a marriage and just everything is going to be work, I'm going to tell you, you're probably not going to succeed. Very few people end up okay. And those that do stay married, you hear people like, oh, our marriage was terrible and everything, and we stuck together. Hey, that's good. God says, you know, shouldn't divorce except for sexual immorality. It's good you stayed together. But the damage that y'all did to each other, because you had to work through all kinds of nonsense, it's irreparable. It's irreparable. Right? And perhaps how that might have affected the kids or other things, that's no way to go through a marriage. That's not the goal. Don't let that be your goal. If I could leave you with one thing, don't let that be your mindset. Oh, you know what? It's going to take work. I'm just going to go through all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to go through all kinds of nonsense with this person. And then I'm going to marry them. We're not getting along. But just because it takes work, it's real dangerous. And like I said, a lot of people teach that. Oh, it's got to be work. And so people think like, oh, I got to go through all kinds of stress and nonsense. No way. No way. Not at all. That's not fun. It's not healthy for you. Physically, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, whatever it is, it's not healthy for you. And you don't have to go through that. Let your relationship flow. Then get married. The difficulty and the difficulty as far as getting along in your relationship, in your marriage, it's not supposed to be maximum. It should be minimal. These should be rare things. But people are so used to all kinds of chaos and nonsense that they think it's normal. Not getting along every other day. Fighting every 3 or 4 days. Every week. It's not normal. It's not healthy. And you greatly decrease the chances of your marriage succeeding and you being happy if you take the mentality If you take the mentality that, you know what, this is going to take work. No, this should flow. Thanks for watching, guys. Food for thought.